morning all. Hi, I am Surya Saxena, Assistant Professor in IMS Ghaziabad University Courses Campus. So, today we will discuss about scaling. In last lecture, we have also studied about translation. We have remembered that in translation and scaling and rotation and reflection, they all are come under the category of or under the umbrella of transformation. So transformation, which we have discussed earlier, transformation means change with respect to the time in a particular position or in a particular size segment or in orientation. That all comes under the transformation. So scaling is another type of transformation. Okay, so after studied about translation, we are starting about scaling. So now, first of all, what scaling means? So scaling is used to change the size of an object. As translation was used to, which I have discussed in previous lecture, translation is used to change the position of an object. So in the another aspect, scaling is used to change the size of an object. Look into that. It either magnifies or decrease the size of an object. So with respect to the scaling, an object's size is either increases or shrinks. The change is done using the scaling factors, and scaling factors, we denote the scaling factors as this, Sx and Sy, where Sx denotes scaling with respect to the x direction and Sy denotes the scaling in y direction with respect to the y direction. So the change with respect to the time in the size of an object with respect to the x direction denotes by the scaling factor as Sx, and in the similar way denotes by the scaling factor Sy. If the picture to be enlarged to twice, for example, we are using the twice, so Sx and Xy, or the value of Sx and Sy will be the 2 because we are actually giving the twice. We are giving the value of Sx and Sy as 2, so the size become double, or we are doubling that image. It is not the truth that always the scaling factor remains the same, as in this scenario Sx and Sy have the same value, that is 2. Or so on the basis of this, we can say that scaling is classified into the two categories. First is uniform scaling, and second, another is differential scaling. So uniform scaling means when Sx and Sy have the same value, so the scaling is called as a uniform scaling. Or if they have different
values, let's say if I am saying that twice the size of an object with respect to the x direction, and thrice, note that, and thrice the size of an object with respect to the y direction. So in this scenario, Sx, the value of Sx become the 2 and value of the Sy will be the 3. So this is the example of differential scaling. Now this is the matrix notation of scaling. For example, let's say this is the standard format. X new, the coordinate of the new object with respect to x direction and with respect to y direction can be treated as or compound as this is the matrix Sx00, 0 Sy0, 0 0 1, where Sx and Sy denotes the scaling factor, and x old and y old means the scaling or the original object's coordinates with respect to the x direction and y direction. So this is a homogeneous coordinate representation of scaling. Let's say for an example, we are saying that if x1 y1 is original position and t1 is in translation vector, then x2 y2 means new object's coordinate can be treated as and obtained as an x2 y2 equal to matrix of the old coordinate into the scaling matrix. We can obtain the new one, that is 2x1 and 2y1. Okay, pictorially we can say that as this. We have an image in our left hand side and right hand side. the original image before the scaling vectors or factor, when applied as 2, the original image was this, as like this, this is the triangle. And after the enlarging the image or applying the scaling factors on the original object or image, that's become is like that also. So this is the basic difference between translation and scaling. Either both are comes under the umbrella of transformation, but translation means to change in the position of an object, and scaling means to change the size of an object, either reduce or enlarge the size of an object. Okay, in our next lecture we will study about the rotation. The rotation is also a transformation which change the orientation or angle of an object. Okay, stay connected.